All right, so we're going to do a celebrity makeup look. Jennifer Lawrence wore this look in the new movie, The Hunger Games. It was also, believe it or not, on the spring runways. Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, DKNY, like 8 different designers did this look. They call it the Sporty Cheeks look because it looks just kind of windswept, kind of elements beaten face, but it looks really fresh and healthy. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it pretty natural, but keeping it pretty natural doesn't mean no makeup. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do some natural full brows. Luckily, Jen here has great brows. I'm just going to fill them in with a little shadow and brush, little brow powder and brush, because that's going to give me the most ungroomed look to the brow, the most natural look. Because I'm not trying to get a very precise brow. I'm trying to get a more natural, fluffy brow, so that it just looks like she's just been, well, basically like she didn't do anything to her brows even when she did. So you apply it with your number 1 brush, your angled brush, and then I always go back over it to really blend it out with my big brow brush. Just slightly filling in. Same way you do with the pencil, little feathery hair-like strokes. Just using the powder will be much softer. Make them look nice and full. Okay, now for color, it's kind of like a revisit of the 80s in the sense that you're not going to need a lot of different eyeshadows. There's not a lot of highlighting. It's about creating just a little bit of depth on the lid for definition. And so it's really kind of like a wash of color. And believe it or not, you could do this with bronzer or with a shadow. I'm going to first, though, before I even think about starting to do my color, because as y'all all know, because you've watched so many videos of mine, I need to see what I'm going to receive from lashes as far as definition to judge my amount of color. Up and look down. There you go. Especially with a look like this, because you need to see how much shadow you need to create kind of like that definition. So lashes are such a big part of that. I need to do my, kind of see what I'm going to get from her lashes. And Jen's got good lashes. The less lashes you have for this look, the more shadow you're going to need. The more lashes you have, the less shadow you're going to need. So that's why I need to find out how much she's got. Because with this look, the focus, believe it or not, in a kind of subtle way, is your cheeks. You want that kind of like soft flush that you get when you've been outside skiing, or, well, skiing you're a little too wind burnt, but you know what I mean, like skiing or just running around. Remember when you were a kid and you used to run around outside and you come back in and you just had that nice little flush to your cheeks? That's what we're trying to create. Slightly wind burnt. In a good way. Look down over that way. In the Hunger Games, you know, there's only one time that Jennifer Lawrence is all done up, so I think that what's really more important in the Hunger Games with her look is this kind of warrior girl that is out to conquer them all. And this is the stronger of her looks. Of course, we're to believe she's wearing nothing, and we all know that's not true, so that's why it actually takes makeup to create that effect. Okay, we're going to just do a little bit of mascara. Look down for me. And also with this look, I'm going to teach you how to make that kind of like chapped, well, chapped's not a nice word, is it? That kind of like bitten lip look. Okay, so we have our first layer of mascara, and I have to say that I'm going to wait till we get through. I may only do one layer on this look. Stay in your seats. Don't fall off of them. Okay, now you're going to take my brush number 27 because I just want a wash of color over her whole lid. And I'm going to take, actually I will just use bronzer. I'm going to take a bronzer, a matte bronzer. And I'm just going to do a wash, look down for me, a wash of color from lash line up into the crease. We're just trying to create subtle definition. Now make sure if you're going to use bronzer that your bronzer has been tested for the eye. Nowadays most have. The reason I chose this brush is because of the pliability of the bristles. You can just get that nice wash of color. Now I'm going to take my number 30 brush and do just a little bit of a darker taupe right at the lash line to create a little more dimension. So that just gives it a little more definition. Now, we shouldn't have too much that we've dropped because we haven't done that much, but let's double check. No, just to be safe, let's just go ahead and clean it up. A little bit of eye cream. Look up. We're about to see the test. Ah, barely any, but still. Better to have none. I am, though, after looking at the definition, I don't want more lashes, but I want a little more darkness at the lash line. So I'm just going to take my brush number 18, a dark matte brown shadow, look down for me, and just scrub it right into that lash line. Because I do think that this look needs definition at the lash line. Yeah, better. Just laying it down, just kind of scrubbing it right into that base. There we go. Making sure there's nothing. Okay. Now we're going to foundation the face, keeping it pretty sheer because we don't need it to be very, we want to keep the skin as fresh looking as possible because that's part of this look is it's, you know, just skin that's been out in the sun. But we want coverage, we want to even out the skin. So choose a sheer texture. Tinted moisturizer would work great for this look. Look up. Because Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games, as this character, is outside fighting a lot. So she, of course, is not supposed to be wearing foundation, but we all know that no actress would go on screen without foundation on. Really blending it out so we get just a nice sheer amount of coverage. Now, lots of times when we do looks, look up, you know how I like to slightly lighten underneath the eye. I'm going to try to really get it really close to exactly her foundation shade. I want it to, still get rid of any darkness, but this isn't about being glamorous. It's about being anti-glamorous. So, making sure my concealer shade's an exact match, not a shade lighter at all. And concealing little spots we don't want to see. Using my brush number 53. Look up for me. There you go. Now, you want to make sure that you don't powder your foundation too quickly, because this look is all about a layered cheek in the sense of causing that creating that flush, not causing. But I do want to go ahead and always set underneath here as quickly as possible so we get no creasing. It's just the tiniest bit of powder with my number 76 brush. And I am going to go ahead and lightly set those few spots that we covered. Okay, let's finish the eye. My number 30 brush and some matte, starting with my bronzer. I'm using the 30 because I want it to be very smudged. I want it to be very purposeful. Look up. And I'm just going to go along the lower lash line. And this really just gives you a smudged out look. Like you didn't really put anything there. It's just natural color. Just always remember, the more smudged out or undone, look down, you want it to look, the bigger the brush for that task you're going to do. And so since that's normally a very small brush, this is huge in comparison to doing that with it. Look up. And remember, bronzer's got a lower dye load of color, so you can really smudge that out. And it's going to give you a great there but not there color. Kind of like short but long hair. Kind of like messy but clean. So it's there but not there. Also, as you all know, I am a total believer in bronzer. Everyone needs a good matte bronzer in their makeup set. Anytime you're trying to create a look. Okay, now I'm going to use my number 13 and a dark taupe, and I'm keeping it really close to the lash line. Once again, creating a little depth. So we get definition without looking like we've purposely done it.
I'm sorry, you said that first, but what is that again?
13. Now, I want to define her lashes, but not much, because remember, we don't want it to look like she's got mascara on. So I'm going to use mascara, but once again, I'm going to use my sponge to apply it while I'm applying it. Look up. so that I can get color on them without getting any buildup of product. So you can really scrub it in there so you get that little bit of definition, but it honestly looks like you're wearing no mascara on them. Whereas if you were just to put it on normally, free-handedly, you're trying to get to look like there's product. I do a little bit more mascara. Look down for me. Okay, so I lied. I couldn't go with just one layer of mascara. Sue me. Okay, now to start to create our flush cheek. I always love a pretty flush cheek. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a cream to powder blush. You can do it with your fingers or you can do it with a brush. I love to do it with a brush. That's why I created this brush. It's my number 64 brush. You're going to take a color. Smile for me. Smile. And you want to start at the apples of the cheek, working it back towards the back of your face. Smile again. And by smiling, it really helps because you can really see the apples. And don't be scared to get it a little bit much at first because you can blend that out. Smile again. Big. Jen, smile for me. Come on, girl. Bigger. There you go. I knew you had it in you. Put it on a bit heavy. Then I'm just going to take my sponge and I'm just going to start to blend it out. That's why I'm saying don't worry about putting it on a little heavy at first. Blending all around the edges to kind of get a nice blend. I'm just stippling to get the blend. Now I'm going to powder. Because whenever you're applying a cream blush, you apply cream to cream, powder to powder. So I have to apply my cream blush before I powder, and then I apply my powder blush after I powder. Powdering. Using my brush number 73 to powder. Don't over powder. You notice I've not touched to get more powder yet because I just want a little bit of powder. Now I'm going to use some bronzer. Nice matte. You're not that dark. Start off paler. Starting at the back of the cheek, working it out. Now, just to be very specific for you, with this look, in order to get the flush cheek effect, we concentrate our color on the apples of our cheek. We concentrate bronzer in the back part of the face. That way it grounds the flush. So I'm mainly bronzing in the back, and then I'm going to reinforce that flush with a powder blush back on the apples. A little bit of bronzer on the nose with my brush number 11. Again, no makeup set is complete without a matte bronzer. I don't know a single girl, I've never met a single girl that didn't need a good matte bronzer. It does so many things for you. You can double as a mid-tone, it warms up your face, gives you a glow. And for this look from the Hunger Games with Jennifer Lawrence, she's really got kind of bronzed and burnt all at the same time. Now I'm going to grab my number 73 brush and I'm going to reinforce that flush. Smile for me. Once again, don't be scared to go a little strong because we're going to blend it out. Grab your powder brush now, another number 73, and go back over it with powder. Okay. Now, the final piece to this puzzle for this look, this celebrity look, is kind of a bitten, undone lip. And that's created by, I moisturized first earlier when we were starting. Then I'm going to take a natural tone lip pencil and I'm going to go ahead and line. Not so perfect. See, I'm just haphazardly doing it and fill in. Open for me. Then you're just going to take and you're going to stipple the lip, which is a patting motion, lip liner. And then I always like to use a tissue and just barely, now leave your mouth exactly where it is, let me do all the controlling. And I like to go along and blot just the top of the pencil, or the lip where the pencil started, to even soften that a bit. So just right along the edge. And now you can see how that makes the lip look defined, but like that's her natural lip color. Like it's just, she's been out running around and that's just her own natural lip by putting the pencil on that way. And that was part of like the whole windswept, sporty, outdoorsy kind of look that Jennifer Lawrence was sporting in the Hunger Games and was on all the spring runways. Michael Kors, DKNY. I forgot the other one, didn't matter. Okay, so now we're going to, not that this isn't a beautiful color, but we want to give her the whole effect. And so we're going to disappear. We're going to do a little bit of color work on Jen's hair. And we're going to come back and we're going to actually show you how to create the hairstyle she wore the whole entire time she was fighting. Because not only is this a makeup tutorial, this is going to be a hair tutorial. A celebrity look hair tutorial. And so we're going to go away and we'll come back. Okay, now we're going to help you recreate the look of the Hunger Games. So I think for you to do it yourself, we'll show you kind of a mock version that you could do if you're only doing it yourself. I would get a friend to help you. First, you're going to have to practice just doing basic French braids on your hair. Most of you already know how to do a French braid because you're doing it in front. Okay, so what you're going to do is it's a matter of twisting each section that you pull through. And so the first section you're going to grab, you're going to twist it backwards. Now, here's where you start making all your messiness. Just pull out whatever you want to pull out. Then you're going to grab another piece, and then your third piece, and you're going to do your first braid, okay? Now, each time you come in with the next piece, you have to twist that piece before you come in, and you're following basically your hairline. Twisting this one back. Grabbing this one. And Allison, my fabulous assistant, is twisting before I get a hold of it. Now, here's where you keep pulling out to kind of adjust how messy you're going to have it be. Because in the Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence's hair is quite windblown and run through, and I mean, she's just working at fighting those games. And so hers is quite messy. But you could do it neater if you want. Right, so we're just twisting and we're adding as we go along. You're going to follow the hairline with your hair. And you can see how it's making these like ridges. That's what you're trying to go for. Pulling out as you go to make it as messy as you want it. Also, I should have probably pointed out that it's parted just off center on top and down the side back here, because you're going to braid to here, and this is going to braid to meet it, and it's going to come down that side. Twisting your section back, braiding as you go. Now, after you get to this point, go ahead and do a couple braids. Turn this. Braid it just a couple times, and then you want to clip something around it or have Your friend hold it while you do the next side. Okay, so let's spin around so we can show on this side. Once again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to twist a section back. I think I took part of yours, Allison, sorry.
Okay.
It is all about me.
It is all about you.
All right, so then we're going to start to braid. Braid. Just a second, I'll give you a quick tutorial as well on basic French braiding. Now, once you get to the end of the hair, you're going to take this 3-part of the braid, combine 2 of those sections, so you now have 2. Take the other big braid, divide it where you've got 2 and 1. You've combined the 2 into 1, and you're just going to continue to braid. Of course, pulling it out and making it a little bit messy. As messy or not messy as you want. Then we're going to take and put a rubber band on it. If you look back here, you have the ridges, just like she had in the movie. And like I said, the messier you get it, you can get it however messy you want to have it, or however neat you want to have it. Okay, turn back around. All right. All right, basic French braid knowledge for those of you that don't know it. Just like in a braid, you've got your 3 sections. I've just sectioned off the top of her head. You're going to take your 3 sections and you're going to make your first braid. Now, when you're adding hair, it's going to be always to the piece coming in. So we've got to, I find it best to use your fingers in correct placement, and it just keeps revolving in your fingers. The piece that is going to get hair added to it last goes between your middle finger and your ring finger. The piece you had just added hair to goes between your index and your middle finger. The piece you're adding hair to is between your thumb and your index finger. You're going to add hair to it. You're going to grab the one that was between your index and your middle finger. You're now going to move it to between your ring and your index finger. The piece you just added hair to will go between your middle finger and your index finger. The one that you're about to add hair to goes in between your ring and your thumb. I mean your index finger and your thumb. You're going to add hair to it. Now you're going to grab the hair that was between your middle and your index finger. You're going to put it between your ring finger and your index finger. You're going to add it to, put it between your ring and your middle finger. Grab the hair you just added hair to, put it between your middle and index finger. Then the hair you're about to add more hair to between your thumb and your index finger. You're going to add hair to it. Once again, the piece you had added to the time before goes now to between the index and ring finger. What you just added hair to between the middle and the index finger. I said that wrong. Once again, the hair you added hair to time before goes between the ring and the index finger. The hair you just added to goes between the middle and the index finger, and then the hair you're about to add hair to goes between the index and the thumb. Add hair to it. You grab what was in this section on the other hand and put it in the section between the index and the ring finger. Section you just added hair to goes between the index and the middle finger. The section you're adding hair to goes to between the index and the thumb. The hair that was between in the middle section now goes to the third spot section you just added to goes second spot, the last section goes to the top, and you add hair to it. Once again, you grab the hair that was in the second spot, take it to the third spot. Hair that was in the first spot, take it to the second. Part that was in the third comes up to the first. Once again, grabbing the second, taking it to the third. What was first goes to the second. What was third goes to the first. What was second goes to the third spot. What was first goes to the second. What was third goes to the first. And that's your basic French braiding. You're just alternating between different sections. So if with the Jennifer Lawrence look from the Hunger Games, you need to practice basic French braiding first, that's what you would do.